Somebody's got to, because the racetrack don't do it.
And we are going to continue on with Kyle Busch, driver of the number 18 M&M's Toyota for Joe Gibbs Racing. If you have a question for Kyle, please raise your hand. We will get a wireless microphone to you. We will start with Jacob.
Jacob Seelman, Speed Sport. Kyle, your brother was in here earlier, and I asked him a similar question, but with the success that both of you have found here over the years, what is it about Bristol that works for you guys? It seems like certain drivers have taken a liking to this place over the years.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly what all equates to being good at Bristol here, and especially it's kind of interesting or unique that us two have done a really good job of doing well here over the years. So, a lot of people talk about how you got to attack this track and be aggressive and that sort of stuff, and obviously that's kind of our driving style a little bit, but that's a lot of other drivers' driving styles as well too, and some just seem to adapt to it maybe a little bit better than others, but overall it's a fun place to race, and it's always a challenge here. Seems like every time we show up, we don't know what track we're showing up to, but we all try to figure it out as we go along.
We'll go to Reed, then to Jeff.
Reed Spencer with NASCAR Wire. That leads into my question. Did you know the top groove had been ground? And how do you think that's going to affect the race on Sunday or Saturday night?
Yeah, no, they didn't tell us anything, so we didn't know till we got here on Thursday. I don't know. There's no telling. Typically here in the fall race, the tops come in by now, but there was nobody that was doing any of that, working it in last night in the Truck Series race, getting up that high. So, when I ran here 2 years ago, there was no top groove either in the truck race, and then I had a pit road penalty, had to go to the back, and I warmed the top up and got the top rolling, and then the top became the preferred groove before the end of the truck race. But nobody did that last night, so that's kind of why it's still not there yet, I feel like right now. And or just the difference of what they did to it, what the treatment was that they did to it. It's pretty white, so it looks like it was kind of reground or whatever, repolished. That it's just different. So guys are a little bit more timid going up there because whenever you go up there, there's dust coming out from underneath the back of your car. So it's definitely dirty up there.
Go next to Jeff, then to Claire, and then to Steve.
I was going to ask a question along those same lines. How surprised were you, or everybody, I guess, that there's been so much collaboration this year of like where exactly the PJ1's going to go, and here you guys show up at a track and there's something.
You should know my quotes better than anybody else.
That doesn't mean I can say them for you.
Doesn't surprise me at all. What else? You were going somewhere else.
No, well, I was just going to say, like, were people among teams, like, talking about it, like, just, like, what do drivers say to each other when you guys are like, oh, my gosh, you see this? Like, it's totally changed.
Yeah, I mean, we talk about it a little bit over the group text, like, hey, did anybody know about this? No, nobody know about it. So then we start digging around trying to ask questions, and nobody really wants to give you a straight answer. So, SMI tends to do whatever they want to do, however they want to do it, however they see fit, and that's what they do.
Go to Claire, then to Steve, and then to Mark.
Claire B. Lang, Sirius XM NASCAR Radio. I interviewed Chandler Smith last night after the truck race. I was pretty impressed with him, and I know he didn't win, but he's so young, and he comes here to Bristol and has that finish, and he was incredibly disappointed that he didn't pull off a win. He's an aggressive competitor. How did you look at it?
I was watching the race and thought he did a good job, put himself in a good position there at the end and was making moves on the outside on restarts and on the inside on restarts, and he got crowded a few times and held his truck, held his composure, and did a good job of being able to maintain his track position there. On the last restart, he got a good restart, and then the outside truck gave him room through 1 and 2, kind of pinched him a little bit in 3 and 4, which is to be expected, but he did a good job, and I told him after the race that he did a good job of being able to hold his truck, and he could have drove it off in there and used up the guy on the outside and moved him out of the way and probably, gone on and actually won the race, but I felt like he was pretty respectful, so I hope that, the competitors out there kind of noticed that, and I want to talk about these younger kids needing respect and everything else, or it seemed like he gave some, so he should earn some for what he did last night, so I was impressed by that, even though he didn't win. I thought that, he certainly earned himself a few favors.
We're going to go to your far left here to Steve.
Kyle, would it be fair to say that your truck program hasn't lived up to expectations this year, and what changes do you foresee next year to make that more competitive?
Yeah, no, it hasn't lived up to our expectations. And as far as changes go, it's too soon to tell. Realistically, I don't really foresee a whole lot of changes happening within my people. I know some of the drivers are probably going off and doing different things and have different opportunities elsewhere. So we'll bolt in some new seats and see what happens next.
Mark?
Mark Arrow, PRN. Kyle, a couple questions. Number one, you guys travel so much by private plane and such a necessity given your schedules. Your thoughts and reaction to what happened yesterday with Dale Jr.?
Yeah, I mean, it's scary anytime you hear about those things or see those things. And certainly when I heard about it, my pilot actually called me and was like, hey, have you heard this or seen this yet? And I was like, no. And he explained to me what all happened. And as soon as he said Junior's plane went down, my heart just dropped, you know. So I certainly, like, my first thing was like, well, are there any survivors, you know, because you don't know any of the details originally, and then a lot more of the details start coming out and you start hearing things. But it's a scary situation, you know, and, you know, as much as we do travel and things like that, I know Junior's had his pilots for a long, long time. I don't know any of the details past what you guys all know because I haven't spoken to anybody. So it's just, you know, everybody has procedures and protocol and things like that. And I feel like Cessna and Textron Aviation, those guys do an amazing job. They actually help me manage my aircraft, and I have the exact same plane Dale Jr. has, Citation Latitude, and it's been a fantastic aircraft to get me from point A to point B, and it's always been there for us, and it's done a phenomenal job. So I'm not sure the details as to what happened, if it was whose error or whose accident it was, I don't know. And so my wife right now is in the air, flying her way here on the plane, and hopefully everything goes well and everything's normal on that end. You know, there's a lot of airplane flights that happen throughout the days, throughout the years and everything else, and there's a few that have issues, and for as many flights that are successful, it's certainly a tragedy when there's flights that aren't a success. So glad everybody was okay.
I also want to talk a little bit about Darlington here. We've got a week off, then we hit there. Just the throwback part of this thing. You seem like a guy that we ride at home in the kind of rough and tumble throwback days. How do you feel about those races when you look at them, those cars when you look at them back from the 70s, 80s, that kind of thing?
Yeah, I mean, every time we go to Darlington, they have kind of a different era that you're supposed to fit within for criteria, I guess, on how they're going to theme it. And we didn't participate the first couple of years, but lately we've been a participant of that, and it's been pretty cool. So I've been pretty excited. First year we did was Interstate Batteries with Dale Jarrett. Last year we had Ernie Irvin's Skittles car. This year we haven't quite announced ours yet. I think it's supposed to come out next week. So they're always late on announcing it. Don't ask me why. I don't know why. I've told them to get it out earlier. So I don't have these sorts of questions. Well, what are you doing? I know what I'm doing, but I can't say anything yet. So I look forward to that weekend, though. It's always fun just to kind of see the guys that really go all out with it. And, you know, Larson with the mellow yellow car, or Eric Almirola with the STP car, and guys like that can actually grow the right facial hair and the right hair, or wear the wigs or whatever, that sort of stuff. You know, it's pretty cool to have that, and the crew guys and them all getting into sync with you know, the uniforms from back in the day.
Additional questions for Kyle. Dustin?
Let's talk about the track.
You've been close times with David Reagan over the years. He's retiring at age 33, or at least from full-time racing, to go spend more time with family. What was your impression of that when you heard about that?
Yeah, I've known David for a while now. I've actually known his dad probably a little bit longer than I've known David, just from his dad working with 600 Racing and the Legends car stuff, you know. But it's we're the same age essentially, you know. So it's pretty cool that we've been here this long and we've raced against each other this many times. But overall, it's, you know, when you're in his situation, it's a heck of a lot different than being in a situation like myself or Jimmy Johnson or Kevin Harvick or Denny Hamlin or whoever. But, you know, so it's been, when you hear about guys, you know, stepping away, you can say, yeah, okay, I understand that, you know, I get it. Sometimes you just kind of have enough, if you will. And there's a lot of guys that are out there that are the Chastains or the Landon Castles or the Corey LaJoys that are working hard at trying to make it and are going to have to do it a hell of a lot longer, But David just finally, I guess, has kind of had enough, and I'm sure he's going to give it his all for the rest of the year and hang it up, which is good for him. If that's what he wants to do and that's what his family wants to do, then do it. You know what I mean?
Dustin?
Dustin Albino, front stretch. Kyle, how do you feel about the Xfinity car tonight? And will you be the first one to try the top?
Yeah, I don't like my Xfinity car very well. So, it's fast. It's got good speed. I just don't like the feel of it. So we'll see what happens tonight. Eric seems pretty good, and the 20 seems pretty good. The 12, the 00. So your normal contenders seem pretty good. So we'll see what happens. But, overall tonight, will I be the first to the top? I don't know. There's no telling. We'll see what I feel in the moment.
Go to Lee.
Lee Spencer, RacingBoys.com. Do you and Samantha have any plans for the off week? And what's it been like getting used to having a dog in the house?
I've only been there for one night, so I was here last night. She stayed home with Brex and the pup. So I fought it for a long, long time, and I won until just this week. So I finally lost the war. We now have a dog, and it's cool for Brex. He was always asking for one and kind of wanted one, saw other families with them and stuff. And we had Lucy. We still have Lucy. Lucy's with the grandparents. She just got mean. She didn't like Brexton. So you'll have that with a small dog, I guess. But either that or she learned everything from her mom. But, with going to the off week, I don't know where we're going. I do know where we're going. I'm just not going to tell you where we're going. So looking forward to getting away, that's for sure.
Kyle, thanks for taking the time to join us, and good luck today.
Yep.